Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to RGTV. My name is Franklin Katunda. Welcome back in the studio. We are now having a guest. The guest is coming from North Carolina in the Charlotte area. Bonjour à tout le monde de Charlotte. Merci de nous suivre. Nous sommes là sur RGTV. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a young entrepreneur in the house coming from the Charlotte area. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good, very good. Now, let our audience know your name, your full name.
Okay, my name is Dieudonné Jacques MBIYA, and from Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a pleasure to be here in Dallas. It was quite a journey.
Yeah.
I took an early flight and I almost missed it, and I was like, I gotta make it here for this event.
Ooh.
And yeah, it was pretty tight, man. I thought an early flight there wouldn't be no lines in the TSA. There was about 500 people there, and I had a generous family that let me skip them in line in order to make it. So I got it to my gate at like 1 minute before they shut the doors.
Wow.
Yeah.
You probably heard that announcement. Last call.
Last call, yeah. I literally sprinted. And I was like, you know what? I'm glad I work out 3 times a week because I didn't lose my win. I was running through. Everybody was like, wow, he's trying to make it to his flight. But thankfully, by the grace of God, I made it.
Oh, great, great. But we're happy to see you and have you here in the studio for the first time. And it means a lot for us, you know, that you positively actually took that invitation and then honored it and came over. It's not easy. A lot of people don't do that, but see, you did it. Thank you so much for doing that. How did you get involved in entrepreneurship? Let's just go ahead and talk about that, because you're an entrepreneur and you're young. Do you have any problem talking about your age?
Oh, not at all. I'm 33 years old.
Okay, 33 years old. You're an entrepreneur. Tell us what event in your life pushed you into entrepreneurship?
Okay, so I initially got involved in entrepreneurship just by watching my parents, just watching them go to work every day and just trying to create something for the family, something that we can call our own. And it took some time. You know, we just tried different methods. And my father, he was a big visionary, and he always thought about dreaming big, and he always wanted to have something that, you know, I could carry on and pass on to the next legacy. So I watched them. They created a business in 1999, and it's still open until this day. It's been a quarter century. So that's always inspired me to be an entrepreneur. And yeah, that's how I became an entrepreneur, just being inspired by my family.
Great. So mainly by your father and your mother, because they're both in the business.
Yes, that's correct.
Great. And so tell us a little bit about the design of your brand. You have a new brand, a fashion brand, and tell us about the progress that you have made, you know, diversifying those fashion options. I'm curious to really know how you started it.
Okay. So pretty much I've been into fashion the majority of my life, and you know, in Congo, a lot of our culture, we like to dress up. They call them sapeurs.
Yeah.
So it's just been something a part of my background, and just, you know, growing up, I just always wanted to be presentable.
Yeah.
And in every school that I attended, from elementary, middle, high school, college, I was always recognized for my fashion. I won the superlatives for that, and it's just been a part of my life. So, you know, over the years, I wanted to create something of my own. I've been inspired by other brands, Yeezy, Nike, Phil Knight, all the big names, and I wanted to join that space. So when social media started popping, it gave me a platform to be able to create that and start my business and actually live through my objectives.
Okay, so I see EAT right there, and I see a big E and a fork going down. What's the name? What's the brand? And just try to kind of tell us a little bit what's behind the logo.
Okay, so my brand is called WAGE. It's an acronym that stands for We All Gotta Eat. Something that I was, you know, thought about when I was driving around the city of Charlotte, and one day, and I was just thinking, like, what can I name my brand? And the word wage popped up, and I'm like, man, that's like money. And I'm like, y'all gotta eat. So it lit a light bulb in my head. I was like, man, I need to actually do this. I looked up online, did my research, my due diligence to see if anybody had this name. and I end up claiming it myself. And it represents togetherness. It represents unity. It represents not success for yourself, but success for all.
Yeah,
We
it's a
all got to
community.
eat. Yeah, it's a community. Yeah, just inspiring each other to do great things, striving for greatness.
Is it also a kind of a call to say we can network together and work? I might have a business doing fashion and I have this brand name, and then you have this and you have that, and we can all benefit from each other if we network or sell to each other or
Yeah.
buy from each other.
Most definitely. So initially, when I started the brand, I was producing for myself.
Yeah.
And a lot of my peers and even family, they saw the products that I was releasing, and they wanted to start their own brand or had a vision to do some type of creative project, and they would hit me up. So with that being said, I believe in collaboration. That's what We All Got to Eat stands for. I want to see everybody win.
Yeah.
And I'm always want to be a reliable resource through my experiences and through my knowledge from my failures and attempts of learning how to create something that has great quality. You know, I want to expand that and help other people.
Yeah. Yeah. So is it possible to successfully reach your goals in business after so many like failed attempts? I'm not sure if you failed sometime in the past, but I'm just asking that question for the audience, for folks who are watching us. Is it possible that after so many attempts and you fail so many times, is it possible that you can finally succeed? And if it happens, what did you do different?
Okay, so anything that you try in life, you have to embrace failure, because you just can't win in everything that you do. So I wouldn't consider failure as something as a bad thing. I consider it as a lesson. You have to learn from it and be able to avoid and mitigate doing the same thing over and over again. It's business and it's common sense. You just have to know exactly how to avoid, not necessarily avoid failure, but learn from your failures and stuff like that. So I believe that you can be successful after so many failed attempts, just like a miner, someone who's going in mining and they're digging for gold. They're thinking that, each time I chip away at this rock, am I going to find the gold? I could be out there for 1,000 days, but you never know. In 1,001 day, you might hit that gold. So don't consider the failure. Just consider it progress.
A progress, yeah. Through that failure,
Right.
you can just one day do better and
Strike for gold.
you strive for gold. And originally being from Congo, you understand what it is to
Exactly.
a mine.
That's right.
And just get something. Talk to us a little bit about your cultural background, your nationality. Do you think it influenced the way you do business here?
Yeah, most definitely. My background, my father, he's from Congo. My mother's from the United States. They met in high school. So I typically had the best of both worlds. Just learning.
Sweetheart out of school.
Right. It's high school. So yeah, that's right. So learning both of the cultures definitely inspired me on my journey of just being able to adapt in any type of circumstance or any type of community, and just remaining humble. I think it taught me a lot, just knowing that Congo is a third world country, and just seeing how my father came from there to come to the United States and create opportunity. It just gave me a lot of determination and tenacity in anything that I do. So learning from those two cultures and backgrounds definitely shaped the way I move in my day-to-day life.
That's great. That's great. So, but your father came in when he was a baby, right?
No, he came in typically, well, he's visited the United States as a child. My grandfather used to travel here a lot through his ministry. So he actually was here when he was around 14, when he came to stay and go to school and stuff like that. So he's about the age of 14.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Yeah. It's amazing to see that the legacy can actually get you to aim higher than what just a normal person will see. I mean, a regular young folk like you, African American growing up in the country where we know there's always not the same way of treatment between races. And when we talk about race relations at your workplace, how do you deal with it?
At my workplace, I just try to give everybody equal opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, just being in the sector of business and being a leader, being a pioneer, I just want everybody to have the same mindset. I don't necessarily look at color, but you know, the status quo or what are we perceived to be in the eyes of the people. You know, we always had this negative connotation about black this, black that. But you know, just the way not only my family just change the narrative and show them like, hey, we're here, we can do business, we can be successful, we can do great things, and we try to make positive deposits in the world and just lead by example. You know, just try to bring people together, especially in the workplace. We have a common goal. It's all about principles, transparency, and that's it for the most part.
Now, when you invest in Congo or when you go there for your business venture, you meet people, local folks, and some of them you employ in your company. Uh, how is it like your relationship with them? Because, and I'm just trying to make a comparison between the folks that work for you here in America versus the ones in Congo.
Okay, yeah, the people in Congo is definitely a work in progress when we initially got there, just trying to teach them the right way to do business, giving them, I would say, the American standard, you know, because America is glorified as being one of even the greatest country in the world, per se, as far as business and everything else. So we have a lot of experience there. So we try to transition that over to Congo and teach people new principles and values of how to do business, of just having great service, great customer service, and just pay attention to the small details. You know, the smallest things matter. Whether we see a piece of trash on the ground or the bathrooms are clean or just the smallest details, it matters. It might not matter to them, but we have to explain to them what it really means to have a great presentation to our consumer base in order to represent our brand.
You know, I watched one of your biggest product in Congo, the Kimberley Memorial Park.
Right.
What I like the most is the landscaping.
Right.
I mean, it's so striking when you look at the landscaping. You're like, wow.
Yeah.
So those guys, I know you taught them the techniques how to grow, you know, the sod and all that stuff, but it's just so different. I wonder, what did you do? Did you give it like a different touch when it comes to human resource? You know, because sometimes people are inspired based on whatever the boss is and his attitude and everything.
Right.
Do you think you guys are doing something different when you compare to the other business that are doing the same thing?
We're typically keeping the same values and characteristics, and everything that we do, we keep it the same because business is business. Your whole goal is to have organization, have to have structure, and you have to have policies and procedures.
Yeah.
And you have to live by those things. Yeah, you have to live by those things, and that's what we promote a lot within our business structure. Like you mentioned, the landscaping. My father was a landscaper. He had a landscaping business in the United States.
See?
Called Global Lawn Maintenance. So it wasn't something that just started overnight. It wasn't started overnight. So this is something that we've been doing along the way, and we implemented in Congo because we know what it means to have great visibility, great presentation, and that makes people even more able to transact with your business. Because they see how good your product looks. They're like, they're sold right there.
That's
and you know, we build a fountain. I'm the one who created the logo for KMP. So when you look at our logo, it has a like water on it. And what we added to our property was a fountain. You know, we never seen that done there before. In most of our properties, we have fountains. We love the sound of water, brings peace and serenity and stuff like that. So when I created that logo for that process, I was like, let me add this splash on our logo to brand our cemetery.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great cemetery. It's called the Kimberley Memorial Park, right on the outskirts of Kinshasa, going towards Matadi, on the route of Matadi. Beautiful. It's a place that, you know, it's so funny when you go ahead and then bring your loved one to lay him to rest. It's a place where you will just feel like, okay, every year or every other month, I would just go out there and sit down, you know, just live in that type of serenity and just, you know, meditate and things like that. It's so beautiful. I personally will take time to visit when I come to you.
Yeah, most definitely.
Congo, just to
Greatly welcome.
Yeah, yeah. Now back in the U.S., what type of ventures that you in besides the wage? Anything else that you do?
Yeah, so I do transportation in the medical industry. So we specialize in transporting people in wheelchairs, the senior community, and just children with disabilities and stuff like that. We're partnering with different companies, and we provide our service to give mobility to those who don't have it. So the vision initially started, my grandfather, he was using that type of transportation to get to his dialysis appointments.
Okay.
And my father, you know, again, another light bulb rang off. He was like, okay, this trip costs this much. He's going 3 times a week. He's like, wow, the numbers are pretty good. He scaled it and he was like, man, I need to try this industry. Because, you know, it seems like it's definitely a commodity because healthcare is a $1 billion industry.
Exactly.
So my father's like, yo, I need to.
And people always get sick and they need to get to the hospital.
That's correct. And it's not always, we're non-emergency. So it's not like an emergency situation. This is just a discharge or go to your doctor's appointment because you can't move and get into a normal vehicle. So we have specialized vehicles that can accommodate our clients.
Yeah, accommodate the wheelchair,
up and down and stuff like that, which is another $1 billion industry. So he did his math, and then one day he decided to get some advice, you know, just made some few phone calls, and he bought a van, spent his last 13 grand on a van, and the rest was history.
Wow. Huh. Ladies and gentlemen, his father, by the way, shout out to you, Sir Jacques Onassis MBIYA, watching us out of Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo. How do you say the wage again? How do you do it? Hey, like this, right?
Yes, sir. Kolia na kolia.
Kolia na kolia. This is amazing. Well, shout out to you, sir, for the great work you're doing, you know, taking care of your family, taking care of people around you, especially your son, really put him in a great path. Let me ask you, young folks out there about your age, what would you tell them?
Young folks, honestly, I would tell you guys to just dream big, have a vision, follow your passion. That's number one. Because a lot of people, they want to get in business for money. You know, you want to have a passion first, put the people first, and have a product that people can adapt to and something that's resourceful. I think that's the main important thing, and align yourself around people who are either at where you're trying to go or ambitious just as much just as much ambitious as you are. Yeah.
So, but you know, it's funny you talked about passion. So I can just kind of envision you working for the wheelchair company in the transportation and all that, and be available working. How many times do you spend, like let's say on a work week? How many hours do you spend at work?
Okay, so typically my usual day, I probably spend about 4 to 5 hours. I go to the office every day because you know you just have to always look for more opportunities. You know, I play the administrative role right now, along with my sister. We're both collaborating in the office every day to catapult the trajectory of our business and looking for more partnerships and making sure everything is ran effectively. So I spend about 4 to 5 hours a day. I make my own schedule. I have my own freedom of time. So it's just some days I may go in, some days I may not.
Work from home? Okay.
Work from home. Yeah, I work remotely from home. And typically when I travel overseas to Congo, I'm able to still work remotely from there with my computer. I have access to everything that's going on. So that's typically how my work week goes. I go in the office around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I'm out about 2, just making sure the floor is ran efficiently and all our clients are being properly serviced.
That's great. That's great. So from your grandparents who devoutly served in the ministry, they were Christian ministers, to a father and a mother who was currently an entrepreneur and in the business. How do you benefit from those two legacy of grandparents who are ministers and parents who are both business people?
Well, they both go hand in hand, you know, with my grandparents being heavy in the ministry, and my parents being entrepreneurs. I kind of infused both of their qualities, just keeping God first, keeping his word at the core of my principles and my values. And with the leadership qualities that they both have, I try to implement that to my daily lifestyle, just leading by example and just being the best role model that I can be. And that's typically what I've learned from both of my grandparents and my parents.
Ladies and gentlemen, his grandfather on the father's side was one of the first representative of the Protestant church in the Congo. And so I grew up hearing stories about him because my dad would always talk about him. My dad was also one of those people who served in the church and was out there doing a big a high school. He had a high school that they founded in Kananga. I think it was in Bibanga.
That's correct.
So that's where they started up, and it's funny because they worked back then. They worked as a family. They knew each other. They knew, okay, this is the MBIYA family. This is you know, Mama Antoinette. This is Suzanne, and they knew each other like that, and they grew up all together. Now the thing is, in our generation today, with living in America, we all like split up, or spread all over the place.
Right.
What would you suggest we do to keep our heritage alive?
Honestly, I think we should just all come together, just learn from the history and actually apply it. Like myself, I heard so much about the history and the heritage from back home.
Yeah. It
made me curious and interested whenever I went back to absorb that and actually live in that moment and be around my family. And if some of you guys may not know, I speak French. My mother put me in that program when I was young, about 5 years old. So I speak French at an intermediate level. And I'm able to connect with my family and stuff like that. So it makes me more inclined.
See, I was about to ask you a question about the language. I was like, okay, let me ask him, how do you deal with the Congolese when you get there? Because they speak only French and some other languages. So how do you deal with them, you being more fluent in English than French?
That's correct.
But see, you understand French, you can also speak it. That's good.
Yes, sir.
You went to school for that. So a word of the future. Now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what do you see yourself becoming?
5 years from now, I'll be 38. 10 years, I'll be about 43. I would see myself just expanding from what I'm already doing. Just making my brand better, making it more visible, having boutiques around the world in every major country. Also buying more real estate and try to hit that $1 billion target. Just that's the vision for the MBIYA organization. I
saw you on your last trip. You went to China.
Right.
Was it a great venture?
Yeah, it was great. It was a great experience. It was somewhere that me and my father always wanted to go. My grandfather, Pasteur MBIYA, he traveled to Korea and different places around the world, which inspired my father to do the same thing and also pass it down to the next generation, because we're always curious to know about different cultures, different economies. So the trip was definitely meaningful. I met a few of my partners there. I have manufacturers there in China who actually produce my clothing and stuff like that. So I got to put a face to them, and they showed me a great experience. I like to travel to see some of the tallest building structures in each country that I go to, like the Canton Tower in Guangzhou and the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the CN Tower in Canada.
In Canada,
yeah. All those, the Ellis Tower in Chicago, just different things.
Hey, you're fascinated with by architecture.
That's right.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So is that something maybe you're going to develop into a business? Like
that too.
Architecture?
Yeah, most definitely, because we're involved in it every day. I mean, me and my father, we talk.
Your dad is already good in interior design. I saw that.
Yeah, most definitely. He takes it too far. I mean, the recent property that we built for my son, his name is Weston Villa.
Weston Villa.
Yeah, the West Villa Weston. My favorite number is 7. It's always been 7. And my son was born on July 7th, which is 7-7. And the property that we bought, the address was number 7. So it was just destined to be. And when you mentioned the interior design, my dad goes bananas, like Louis 14 and all the whole 9 yards. Like, I'm like, Dad, relax, man. You're spending $40,000.
The swimming pool with light.
Right, spending $40,000 on furniture. I'm like, who does that? But that's just his passion. And that's how I was able to follow his lead and do the same thing. I love creating and just being in that space.
Ladies and gentlemen, young folks like Jack right here in the United States are capable of doing a lot of things. What I wanted to give as a message also by inviting him here in the studio is so that we can understand that it is possible to reach those heights of possibilities. Dream and get up there, work for it. And that's exactly what can take us to the next level. There's a lot of young folks, sometimes they look at their language as a barrier. Sometimes they look at the culture, the difference in culture. America is a place of diversity. Those differences in culture brought together will just make you a very interesting person, because people will looking at you like, okay, how about if we try with him? Let's give him a shot. Maybe he's gonna be good and he's just gonna make me succeed. So folks will come and try to agree with you in a business venture and eventually get you somewhere. And so you heard his story talking about him working with his father, but forget about the family first. There are two different entities, agreeing to work together. It's also important to understand that in the family, you can work as a business partners.
That's correct.
Yeah. And if you're serious about it, you'll get somewhere.
And that's exactly right. And when you work with your family, a lot of people look at it from this perspective, like, oh, he's, living off this, or his family, his daddy's funny, all that kind of stuff. You hear these different type of narratives, but they don't know, like, just starting this business, I was 8 or 9 years old. I was around the evolution of our entrepreneurial journey. So when you look at things like, hey, I'm watching our success catapult over the years, I'm like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? And just, it's not a lot of us in our family, as far as me and my father, my son, and we have a lot of assets. So with me, I need to be involved. I need to know everything that's going on, and I just tune out the noise, because I know who I am. I'm comfortable who I am. My dad's a big visionary. I'm a big visionary. My mother is too. She worked in corporate banking. So when they initially started the business, my dad was like, hey, you need to join me here so we can make the business better. So she gave that up, all her benefits, because when you become an entrepreneur, all those benefits go away. And you have to pay a high ticket for insurance. But my mom ended up joining. She perfected the administrative side of the business, the finance. That's our financial advisor of the family, is my mother. She's the financial advisor. She's the one that saves all the money, and that's I take a lot after her too on that side of finances, because that's what I do. I don't try to live above my means or try to attach myself to, people's perspective on my family is majestic or this and that, but I don't have to impress anybody. I'm humble, I'm down to earth, I am who I am. I mean, I could pretty much do anything I want to do, but it's more so of just being at peace.
Is it necessary to do it right now? Sometimes you look at it, well, I don't need a Lamborghini.
Exactly.
I have to save money and run the business.
Because I'm not going to lie, I did find myself at the Bentley dealership before. I was like, man, I want to get this Bentley truck. I have to get this Bentley truck. My dad was like, man, go ahead and get it, man. You got it. But I'm like, I mean, as soon as I park it in the driveway, nobody's going to be watching anyway. So it's just like, I'll just continue to drive what I have and just keep saving money and investing into my business.
Absolutely. So folks out there, one of the key to success is that not just engage in the business and then go ahead and start hitting the first profit and then you want to just eat it up. No, you gotta save. You gotta reinvest in your business and make sure that you are going progressively higher, instead of just you make money and then you stop somewhere and then all of a sudden we don't talk about the business. You start thinking about filing bankruptcy and owe the money back or something.
That's true.
So is it one of the problems that we have also in our generation, African Americans?
Most definitely. It's, man, I tell you, financial literacy is necessary. In order to do anything in life, you have to have discipline. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get far. If you have no structure, how can you advance? And I think a lot of people have to focus on that. Stop looking at social media and try to wish for this quick success. You have a lot of people on there, hey, join my course today, $100. I'll make you a millionaire in 6 months. Try this product, try this and that. You have to be real. You have to be realistic about life and how the process of success happened. Rome wasn't built overnight, but at the same time, you just really have to do your homework, know your passion, look at the market. We live in a marketplace. It's all about matchmaking. How can you match people with a product?
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, it's just a beautiful conversation here, but we will have actually to get to the end of it. It's just beautiful, beautiful that we had this encounter and this conversation out of our studio. Our studio is beautiful right here. It's called Biso Productions in Euless, Texas. And so for all of you out there around the country trying really to make sure you forecast your business, you have one address. Give us a call, come by, like our program on social media. We on YouTube, and like us also on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok. And so we can help you to get where you need to get as far as entrepreneurship and the options that you have out there. Today we had a guest all the way from the Charlotte area in North Carolina visiting us here in Dallas. When are you going back to your place? When are you going back?
Well, to Charlotte?
Yeah.
I'll be going back tomorrow morning.
Oh, tomorrow morning. You see?
Yeah.
You
I got to
just came
get
in
back.
for 3 days, huh?
That's correct. I got to get back, get things started because I'm going to Congo in about a little less than a month.
Yeah. So he's so disciplined. By Monday, he needs to go back to work because, you know, you got to check in and check out.
That's correct.
It was a pleasure to have you in the house. I mean, thank you
sir.
for coming in. And so when you go back, say hello to Mama Kimberly.
Yes, sir.
100%. And also to Papa Jacques Onassis MBIYA. Thank you so much for responding to our invitation.
Yes,
Our
sir.
door is open. Come back anytime.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me. You guys checking me out at wageworldwide.com. As you can see, I have on the Wage gear right now. These shoes just released, the Wage Dunks, and they're exclusive product.
We
Very
all
good
gotta
quality.
eat.
Yes, sir. Koliano Kolia, Shao Jamboka. It's a pleasure.
Shajamboka. I really like that one. I hear that a lot. What is it? Who came up with that?
My father came up with that. Shao de la République.
Yeah.
You know, it's just motivational. Everything that we do is motivational, inspirational, and we want to make sure that we spread positivity around the world.
I love my country of origin, Congo. It's a beautiful country with the diversity, and the people like fashion and they like good manners and stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get up there and work and make this place a better world. Thank you for watching us. I'm Franklin Katunda out of Biso Production Studio in